Some of these are usually pretty easy, so start and end your line, hit enter, set your line width, come back over to edit paths by nodes, or again hit F2, which I'm going to say these a couple times just so you can remember them. So, set your curve, hit Control Alt C. Oh, I guess I should say also I'm working from a PC, not a Mac, so I'm not sure what the key commands are for those, but hit Control Alt C to stroke to path, or you can go up to path again and select stroke to path. I like trying to work with the key commands, but so let's see. Now we'll do a little bit of the face detail. Well, actually, nah. Yeah, a little bit of the face detail. This guy, get my line out there, stroke it, set my line width, drag the curve I want, hit Control Alt C. So the program sometimes might throw these random nodes out here, which you can see there's one here. You got your four corners. I don't want this node here, so to get rid of it, all you got to do is click on it once just to highlight it. You see it's changed to change color and everything. Hit delete and it should get rid of it. So you drag that line out there a little bit, whatever. So now I'm gonna make this detail have pointed ends. So drag the nodes together, make that pointed end, then come out and grab this line and bring it out just to give it the thickness again. There you go. There's that detail. So you can get lazy and I can copy it. Now I'm guessing going over the toolbar icons over here, you have select and transform objects. This is the basic one where you can select things and move it around. When you have edit path by nodes, you can't do that. You can't move things around. What you would actually be doing is that. A few icons over here like making squares, 3D squares, or polygons, making ellipses and circles, making pointed objects, making swirls. So I'm not going to go over all of these. So to move an object around, I want to have select and transform object selected, which is F1. So now I can move things around. Now when you click on it, when you first click on it, you'll get these arrows at the corners, which lets you do certain things to it. If you click the object again, the arrows change. So right now I want to rotate it. So if I don't have it selected, first select it. So you get your arrows here. These let you do all kinds of funky things to it. So what I want to do actually is rotate it. So I'm going to click it again, and I want the corner arrows. So now it lets you do that. And click it again. Now that brings back my other arrows, which I use to transform the size. And drag it in place. And again, if I feel like I need to mess with the line thickness again, I'm going to go to edit paths by nodes again. Just drag its edges, make them bigger. Once I have something I feel that works, now I'm going to get lazy again and copy it over to the other side. So now you can rotate it, go that way to get it right. Otherwise, if you want to mirror an object, say it has an aspect that if you just rotate it, it throws something about it off. This icon's up here. While you have select and transform going, while you're moving an object around, you have the mirror icons up here. So this is flip object horizontally, and this is to flip it vertically. So flip it vertically does that. Flip it horizontally does that. So it's basically what you're doing is mirroring the object. You're basically flipping it over like a pancake. So you don't lose like its attributes, and you're mirroring it. So have that there. There you go. Top of the nose, and the top of her snout and her nostrils. So Now that you got the basics of laying down the outlines, I'll work on laying in some color. That's not my live stream. So, working with color can be kind of tricky. Like, you can try and go by eye, but it's not guaranteed that you'll get it right. I usually try to use color guides or color palettes. You know, through Inkscape you can do color palettes, which, whatever, they usually make things a little faster, but blah blah blah. I have palettes of my own, one that I made for Derpy's character. You know, something simple like this. You can download somebody else's vector to basically use the dropper tool to take color from. So, let's see. Now to do the coloring, it's basically just filling in kind of behind it. So like I'm going to change to my layer that says color, which is behind the outline, so I don't have to worry about an object laying on top of another one. Now to do the color, we're again going to use the Draw Bezier Curves and Straight Lines, which is the same tool that we use to make the outlines. And, you know, again, to bring that one out, it's Shift F6. Hitting the key commands Shift F6 will bring up that tool. So, a few little things to remember about it is, say, if I connect the dots completely and make a closed object, and I come over here to my fill and stroke window, try and keep that in view. Now you have stroke paint and fill. And you have a couple different selections here. You have a solid fill, you have a linear gradient, radial gradient, pattern, and swatch. So, you know, I'm only gonna, for a lot of the colors, you're only gonna, like the body filling, you're only gonna worry about flat color, the basic just color. So, you know, select that. That brings out your fill. If you exit, it takes it away. So, you know. So we'll do a solid color fill. You know, you have your color things down here where you can mess with the temperatures of the colors and everything. So now, depending on what you have selected, so let's see. Right now, since I have the fill selected here for this object that we just drew, when I use the color dropper to select a color, it changes that color in there. Now, if I have stroke paint selected, that's the color of the outline. If I have that selected, that changes. Oh, it's supposed to change that. Whatever. Oh, I'm thinking backwards. Haha, thinking backwards. Let me back myself up here. So to do the outline, you know, I have my layer selected for color, which is below the outline. So now I'm just going to use the same tool that we used to make the outlines and just create a path through that's behind the outline to basically hide the edges of this zone we're making. This is the kind of the tedious part, but you know, again, the hardest part I've ever had to deal with vectors is the eyes, which I'll get into that later. So, you know, stick into your outline. Now we're going to completely connect all the dots. So, you know, the object is hidden there behind the hair. So now we're going to get the color dropper. You know, I'm going to find her main fill here from my little color guide. Click on it, and there it fills it. So if I hide, let's see, if I hide the outline, you can kind of see the object that we put in behind it. One thing I like to do is I don't want this object to have an outline. So I'm going to go over to, with it selected, I'm going to go over to Stroke Paint and Exit, and that gets rid of its outline. So all I have is just the color. Just, you know, it's just one of those things to help control it a little better. So now I have her hair, the base color. Now I'm going to change the color of the outline, which is this the main stroke. Use the color dropper and select that. Now, as you can see, the outline for the ear is above the outline of her hair, which looks funny. That's not how it's supposed to be. So I'm going to select the ear just by clicking on it. You can either have, now with that, selecting it, you can either have the select and transform object selected, or you can have the edit paths by node selected. It doesn't matter for this part. So what I want to do is basically move the object down so that it gets behind the outline of her hair. To do that, if your computer or laptop has the second number pad over on the right side of the keyboard, there's a couple of keys at the top that say home, end, page up, and page down. If you hit home, that brings the object all the way up. So I'm trying to think, if you have multiple objects in a layer, hitting home brings it all the way to the top, so it's the most visible. Hitting end sends it all the way to the bottom. Now if you hit page up and page down, that controls, you can control which level you want it on basically. So I'm going to hit page down a couple of times. Okay, so there you go. It's below it. If I hit page up, it brings it back up. If I hit end, sends it all the way to the bottom. There's nothing else that's going to get in its way, but, So hitting page down brings the ear behind her hair outline so it doesn't look funny anymore. So now obviously here at this ear, since her hair is coming out from behind her ear, that's where I want it. That's right where her hair is right where I want it, behind it. So now this outline, same deal, is I want it to be behind the outline of the hair right here. So I'm going to hit page down, get it behind it, and there you go. So I'm just doing this really rough, just so you guys get an idea of how to do this. So now we're gonna do the color of her body. Now, since I was messing around with the outlines, it took me back to my layer that has her outlines only. So now I have to go back to the layers and select the layer where I'm gonna be putting color. Use the Bezier Curves and Straight Lines tool, same as the outlines, just to kind of get the colors going. Remember to draw your path behind the outline so it hides the edges of the color and everything. See, now I can cut this straight across the hair. I don't have to go there because I can again use that same technique I just showed you, using page up, page down, home, and end, to basically move the color of her body behind the color of her hair. So I'll illustrate that here in a minute. So I'm going to go to the main body fill, select that color. Now I'm going to hit page down so you can see kind of what it does. Right now it's in front of the color of her hair. I hit page down, it puts it behind it. I'm going to get rid of the stroke, so it gets rid of the outline, just because I don't like it. Whatever makes it easier to work with. Fill in her hair, or this other ear, sorry. See, now once I have enough color out here, I know that this ear is the same color as the main fill, so I can just use the color dropper there. Do that. Tell the stroke paint to get rid of the stroke, or the outline. So, there's your basic color. So now I want to change the color of the outline here. So I'm going to select the outline. So now, since this outline, all the outline is the same, but since I have them as separate objects, so like this is a separate object from this ear, this outline's a separate object from this ear and this outline. So to select more than one object at once, I'm going to hold Shift and select all the objects I have. So now this ear, this outline, and this ear and outline is all selected. I'm going to select my color dropper, come over here to body stroke, which is the color of her outline, and click on that, and so now you have your color. Can't forget about these little details here. Same thing, I'm going to hold Shift so I can select more than one object at a time. Come over to main body stroke, and there you go. So I think I'm going to cut this tutorial here and do the eyes as a separate tutorial, since those are a lot more involved than something as simple as this. All right?